Morning, Simon. How you doing?
Morning, Adam and James. Yeah, very well, thank you. Looking forward to the big conference in Birmingham on the 8th of May.
Mm.
And
Yep.
James, I think you're going, aren't you?
Yes, hopefully, yes, definitely. I'm going to
Good.
try my best to get there and get
Yeah, that's great.
this good-looking face there. Yes.
Oh my God.
I
Well,
apologize in advance.
yes, yeah, I saw your eyes roll, Adam.
Yeah.
No, it should be good. I'm saying to everyone that the Americans, they have plenty of, tours and Patriot this and Patriot that. And poor old Britain, we don't get anything really.
Mm.
So it's great that the White Hats and Charlie have, put this on. And there's a lot of people who are a bit miffed in London, thinking, why does the Midlands get it? But as I said to them, you just jump on a train, don't you, from London?
It's
And
not
it's
long at all, is it?
dead easy to get to Birmingham.
Mm.
So yeah, no, we're fine. We're looking forward to it all.
Yeah. Great.
Really,
All good.
really looking forward to it. Yeah.
Well, we just wanted to kind of add some more value and show people something that we talked about in September, October last year about something called the gold silver ratio, which if you've not heard it before, strap in. It's something very interesting, we think. And we're going to show you how you can make free metals out of, I guess, seemingly nowhere when prices of metals go down, which when prices are going up, everyone's happy. You're kind of winning. But what do you do when prices go down? And that's what we're gonna hit today. It's worth saying, as we always say, look, this is not financial advice. We're not financial advisors. We don't want to give advice. This is just education. We think education's far more powerful because then you can take it and do something with it and see this for yourselves, and you're not reliant on the person giving you advice that you have to keep going back to them. So yeah, if have I missed anything, James? Are we good to go?
No, that's spot on.
Keeps me right, don't you?
No, I.
So yeah, I'll share my screen. So what we've talked about in the past is the first step is kind of awareness and realizing that your paper money in the bank goes down in value and that you don't own it and control it. The next step after that is to then say, right, I'm going to solve those two problems. I want something I can own and control. Precious metals tick those boxes. And the third step is trying to maximize and get the most out of it. And this is where the gold silver ratio comes in. Now, for us, it took us quite a while to fully grasp the gold silver ratio. So please don't knock yourself if the first time you hear it, you think, yeah, what is it all about? There is definite value in it. Let's just say that. So it's worth looking at. The gold silver ratio is just comparing the price of gold with the price of silver. That's it. And it just asks that one question, which is, for 1 gram of gold, how many grams of silver can I get? So if you got 1 gram of gold, how many can you get? 10 grams of silver, 50 grams of silver, 80 grams of silver. So it's just comparing prices. There's simple maths behind it. You don't need to do this, but just to tell you the breakdown, you would just compare the price of gold per gram with the price of silver per gram. So you divide one into the other, and it gives you a number. And this is the gold silver ratio. So if gold per gram was 43.26 and silver was 53 cents, then the gold silver ratio would be 81.
And just to add to that, Adam, the gold silver ratio is roughly about that today, actually. It's about 81, between 81 and 82. So it's a very good time if you're holding gold, if you do want to switch your gold to silver, or buy silver if you're buying for the first time.
Yeah. So rather than having to look at the price of gold and the price of silver, just by looking at one number, the gold silver ratio, you can get a relative sense of what's going on with both. So we pretty much just look at the gold silver ratio rather than individual prices, because it tells you everything you need to know.
So if someone's got gold, how do they sell a proportion of it and buy silver? Do they do it? Do they have to physically go into the store and do it? Or they do it over the phone? What do they do?
the way that we do it is you can sell. It's all done online. The metals are physical metals. You have all the serial bar numbers of exactly what you own, but you can sell part of bars, which is quite interesting. The traditional way of holding it in your hand and taking it to the shop, we've found in our experience that it's not very efficient, and we'll show you why in a second. So you just need to be aware every time something changes, there's a loss, and it can be a small loss or a big loss. So, but yeah, we'll hit that in a second, and you'll see why.
Just ahead of the game.
No, it's good.
Good.
These are questions people will be thinking about. So, generally speaking, then, when the ratio goes up, so if it goes from 81 to 85, gold has become more expensive and silver has become more cheap, so cheaper. And when the ratio goes down, the opposite is true. And this is all relatively speaking. Gold has become cheap and silver has become more expensive. So just to give you a rough idea of how that works, at this point, it's really difficult because you might say, well, 81, great. What does that mean? Is that good? Is it bad? Is it silver? Is it gold? Is it in between? And over time, you'll just get a feel for it, like driving a car. You know, if someone says I'm driving at 100 miles an hour, you know that's fast. You've got a sense of what that is. If they say 10 miles an hour, you know that's slow. And over time, you'll pick up with the gold-silver ratio what those numbers mean. If we look at the graph of that, then this will really help. The first application of the gold-silver ratio that we use it for is to tell us what to buy. That's the first thing, and that's the first thing people come up against. Well, what do I buy? We put a few lines on here to guide us. Now, 60 is the average gold-silver ratio over the last kind of 15, 20 years, something like that. So that's important. That's the average. We put a level of 80 and a level of 40. And all of this that we're talking about now is not an exact science. It's not, if it's, 80.01 or 79.99, then you wouldn't kind of do anything with it. It's just saying, look, rough guides. So if we were coming to buy today, we had some cash and we said we want to put it into metals, and we saw that the gold silver ratio was 60, we would buy 50% gold and 50% silver. Why? Because that's the average. It's kind of the equilibrium level. It's not pointing to gold or silver with any conviction, just in the middle. Okay. So we're kind of hedging our bets. We're saying it could go up, it could go down. We don't know. So let's do 50-50. At 80 or above, we would definitely buy 100% silver. Because what that's saying is gold is expensive, silver is cheap. We want to buy what is cheap. Think like a northerner in the UK. You always want a good deal, a bargain, yeah? So that's what we would buy.
There's a sale on, Adam, isn't there, for silver? That's what we're basically saying. And that's the best time to buy it.
Good value.
Yeah.
Exactly. If it was 40 or below, we would buy 100% gold. Because again, when the ratio goes down, it means gold is cheap relative to silver. So wherever you are in the world, you can use the gold silver ratio to work out what is good to buy. And like we said, if the ratio is 79, will we buy 100% silver? Yeah, pretty much. In between those levels, let's say between 60 and 40 and 60 and 80, we might buy a percentage split. So rather than 50-50, if it was at 70, we might buy, 75% silver, 25% gold. Again, not an exact science, but we're just showing you where the ratio is kind of favoring.
It's great for people all over the world, Adam, isn't it? Because we get that question a lot. Where do I start? What do I buy, gold or silver?
Yeah.
It just helps people to decide what's the best value for money right now.
But in recent years, you would really be buying silver, because it looks the last time gold was like that was about 2011 or something.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And that's why there's so much emphasis and talk about silver, because it's a good buy. And then the numbers back that up. And we just look at numbers. We're very kind of boring and vanilla on that. It's not our opinion. We don't say, oh, we love gold or we love silver. We love precious metals more than cash, but we look at the numbers to see, what we should be doing.
Well, I started this journey with precious metals about 2014, Simon. So as you can see in the chart there,
around here.
Yeah. I mean, I was buying 100% gold at that point because I wasn't aware of the gold silver ratio. It took me a good few years, and I started thinking, hold on a minute, and looking at the fundamentals of silver and everything else. So I started personally buying more and more silver as time went on. And since September last year, I've just been buying 100% silver.
And what's happening with the war in the Ukraine? How is that affecting metals?
So metals have gone up. Initially, they went up with the announcement of all of that. But remember, if gold goes up and silver goes up, and they go up by a relative amount, then the gold silver ratio doesn't change.
Actually change. I got it.
Exactly. So it's when there's a difference that the gold silver ratio changes. And
what would cause that difference then? What would happen that would favor one metal but not another?
I mean, there could just be different emphasis on each metal. It could be just a different weighting. Gold has different people. There's different purposes why people buy gold. So it's more seen as a safe haven for investments, jewelry, but it's mainly hoarded. Whereas silver is an industrial metal, so it's used up. So both tend to responded to the Ukraine crisis, but by different amounts. So, but that's good. We like that. If they just did exactly the same, then the gold silver ratio would never change. They could go up by 100%, down by 50%, down by another 100%, and the ratio would be exactly the same.
Sure. So at the moment, you were not advising, but the things you're doing, buying silver.
We're buying silver from the ratio, yes.
But I mean, there's just one thing to add to that, Simon, because that's what we're telling people now. But obviously, we're all in different situations, aren't we? And we already own gold. So if somebody's just starting out, they might still want some gold, and that's fair enough. That's fine. They might still want some gold, and then they can buy maybe 30% gold, 70% silver. So that's what we say to people. That's what we're doing. We're buying 100% silver, but we already own gold that we bought years ago.
Right.
So we're in a different situation. If somebody's just starting out, then they might still want some gold, which is fair enough. It's not a bad thing to do. So do you see what I mean? We're all in different situations, aren't we? So
some people like to just go 100% with the ratio. Some might want a bit of gold that's more consistent over time, and then by the other part with how the ratio is doing. So but this is the first application, so it shows you what to buy. That's how we use it. The second application is the gold silver ratio tells us when to switch metals from one to the other. And currently, as we stand today, if you're outside of the US, then this is available to you. If you're inside the US, this is not currently available, but we are working extremely hard to make that possible. And in the very near future, that will be possible. So if you're in the US and you're thinking, oh, this doesn't apply to me, please keep watching, because you can get ahead of the game, build up your knowledge. And then when it is available, you can hit the ground running and you'll be way ahead. So to your point before, Simon, about, what do people do? Do they just take it in their hand and go to the shop and switch the metal? Here's where the inefficiencies lie. So if you had gold and you sold the gold and you got the cash, and then you took that cash and you bought the silver, it's pretty inefficient. With this whole thing, we're trying to get away from cash. So the more times you have to go through it, the less efficient it is. And you'd have to do the same on the other way around. So you'd have your silver, you'd then sell it for cash, take the cash and buy the gold. And that's kind of one complete cycle, gold to silver and back to gold. The difficult thing is if you've got silver in your hand, in most countries in Europe and around the world, is you pay sales tax, VAT, between 20 and 25%, depending on which country you're in. So automatically you're 20% down before you've even started.
Sure.
Which means you're starting on the back foot. You've got to make this gold silver ratio has got to work really hard for you to break even, which, you know, no one wants to break even. By being clever and storing your metals in the right way, you don't have to pay that VAT.
Legally, you don't have to pay it.
Legally. So all of these inefficiencies, they might be small or large in some cases, they all add up. And you just want to get those kind of costs as low as possible. So we would say be very cautious if you're looking to do this with metal in your hand. It could be possible, but we've not seen a way that makes it worth it. What we do is we just switch between the metals without ever going through cash and without the metals moving out of this VAT exempt storage.
Interesting. Can you talk us through then? Let's just say Fred wants to, you know, convert some gold to silver. How does he do it?
You can do it within a few clicks, actually. It's very easy to do within an online account. Again, all physical metals that are legally owned by the individual. They're not on any company's balance sheet. We like to say they're on your personal balance sheet. And it's a change of legal ownership from one metal to the other. Yeah, I guess if you're sat there and there's two properties and you buy one property, you sell one property and you buy another, it's a change of legal ownership from one to the other.
I think what I was asking was, do you do that and then you have digital money and you buy the gold, or is it automatically swapped? How does it work?
It's a straight swap, gold to silver. You don't go through any intermediary kind of digital currency or paper currency or cash value. It literally just goes one to the other.
What makes it so efficient, Simon?
Got it. But 100 grams of gold wouldn't buy necessarily the exact amount of weight of silver. There might be a bit less or a bit more. Do you know what I mean? How does that work?
Well, this is where the gold silver ratio comes in, because let's say the ratio is 80. What that means is for 1 gram of gold, you get 80 grams of silver. Okay. So we're talking about relative values. So if you've got 1 gram of gold and you say, I want to switch my 1 gram of gold to silver, and the ratio at that moment is 80, you would get 80 grams of silver.
Yes, but there isn't a bar that says 80 grams of silver, is there?
No. So the way that we can do it is you can buy part of a larger bar.
Right.
And it gives you a legal allocation of this bar, which means you've got the flexibility to buy down to the penny and to switch down to the penny.
And that's a real bar. It's not
100% real.
That's what's so important, isn't it?
Yes. You get the serial bar numbers, you get all the audits, you get all the independent audits. So they're like audits of audits to check that everyone's being.
And this was what this Basel III was, wasn't it? It meant that if there was 1,000 grams of metal, that you couldn't sell 1,001 grams. Isn't that right?
Yeah. So you've got to have. We only deal with physical metals that exist, and you own that physical metal. And if you wanted to get it delivered, you can. And if everyone that owns the metal all at once said, we want to get our metal delivered, it's possible.
Right.
Because it physically exists. It's not like you said, there's 1 gram of gold that's got 10 owners. And if they all went like the banks, if everyone wanted their cash out the bank,
couldn't do it.
It wouldn't be there. We want to get away from that. And we want to know that our metal is our metal and there's no one else. So all these things are like fundamental for this to work, and a solid foundation that then you can build and do these interesting things.
Yeah, so, I mean, we basically what we're saying is we don't have to buy or sell whole bars, do we, Adam? So
no,
we buy.
Otherwise, it would be difficult because you'd need to, have so many different denominations of bars to make sure you get the exact ratio, and a headache. So in practical terms, here's what it would look like. Let's say you start with 5,000 grams of silver. Okay. And the ratio is 51. And we'll tell you in a second why we're saying 51. At a ratio of 51, we decide to switch our silver into gold. And so that would give us 98 grams of gold, just shy of a full 100-gram bar. So I had a little haircut at the top there. When the ratio goes to 59, we would then switch our 98 grams of gold back to silver. And because there's been a difference in these ratios, we would actually get 5,784 grams of silver. So basically, we're getting 784 grams of silver, more than we started with. And we've not had to put our hand in our pocket to do this. Okay. This is like we've said before, because some people will be saying, well, where's that silver come from? How have we got it? This is like having cash, buying a house.
Yeah, I've got this, but in order to make this work, how do you get the figures each day? How do you've got to check it on a regular basis? How do you do that?
You don't have to check it that often. It doesn't move. The gold-silver ratio is not kind of ping-ponging around.
Right.
You can literally type into your browser gold-silver ratio and it will pop up.
Oh, right.
Yeah, easy as that. We always talk about checking the gold-silver ratio is like checking the time. If your target ratio to switch at is 50, it's like saying I'm going to leave at 6 o'clock. You check your watch. If it's not 6 o'clock, you do nothing. When it is 6 o'clock, you do something.
And I suppose somebody can always write to you and say, "What are you doing at the moment?"
Well, that's a good point.
Better than that, we post on our Telegram channel what we're doing. So we tell people we buy every 2 weeks, and every 2 weeks we post on there and say, today the ratio is 79, and because of that, we're buying 100% silver. Or if we're doing
so we better put that. I better connect that Telegram channel onto mine so that people can, having watched this, they're able to follow it through.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really good, because there's the theory side of it, and you think, well, that's great, but then the practical.
How do I make it work? Absolutely.
Yes. You can see us doing it in real time, and we're actually buying the metals.
I'm sorry about all these questions, because if I just if I'd shut up, you'd have answered all of this anyway. I just
no, it's good. It's good.
Early.
You always get more out of this, Simon. So that's really good.
Okay.
There's some really
we love it.
Points come out of these questions, so it's really good.
Yeah, please ask, because we're dealing with this on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
We maybe miss some of the points that people want to know. So it's good that you're asking it from a standing start almost. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So at this point, we've had our silver, we've switched it to gold at 51. The ratio's then changed to 59, and we've switched it back to silver. So we've done a complete cycle, silver to gold and back to silver. And it doesn't matter where you start, really, as long as you only realize the increase when you've got back to your first metal, the one you started with, and you can see I've got more than I did before. So that's how it works. And again, not to sound too cheesy, but there's more. Wait, there's more, like an infomercial. You can do this and increase your metals when the prices of metals are going down. And this is what we're going to show you here. We're going to prove it to you. You can research the data. Please do your own research on all of this, but we'll show you how it's possible. So we're going to look at the gold price. And here we've got these little bars are just, they represent 1 day, the movement of price of 1 day. A green bar means that it ended higher than it started, and a red bar means it ended lower than it started. So up days and down days, okay? But if you kind of squint, you can kind of see how the price is moving roughly. So let's take a couple of points here. So this first red arrow is the end of January 2012. And this is the price of gold. So if you'd either bought gold here, or you just monitored the price at this point, and then you monitored the price or sold your gold at the end of June 2012, you can see that it's gone down. Yeah, which it does.
That's not good. Yeah,
it goes up and it goes down like everything. Nothing goes up in a straight line. At this point, if you've got spare cash, we actually buy more metals when the prices go down because we think there's a sale on. But if you've not, no problem. There's a solution for you as well. Okay, so that's what gold did over that time period. Fine. Let's look at silver over the exact same time period. End of January 2012, end of June 2012.
Very similar. Yeah.
Similar picture. Yeah. So if you would have bought here and then sold here, you would have lost. And this is why we say it's long term. You know, please look at it as a kind of 5-year plus investment. Now let's look at the gold silver ratio over the exact same time period. Different
That's
picture.
interesting. That's interesting.
Yes. This is the exact same date, so the end of January 2012 gold silver ratio, and this is the end of June 2012. Again, same time period. So as prices have gone down, the ratio has actually gone up, which takes a bit of getting your head round. This is a level of 51, and this is a level of 59. So the reason we talked about if you had, you know, so many grams of silver and you switched at 51 to gold, so here you would be switching to gold, your silver to gold, and then here you would be switching your gold back to silver, you would have more silver than you started with, even when prices have gone down. Does that make sense?
It does. And if you keep doing this, you keep growing your portfolio.
Yes.
Compounding it, basically. Yeah.
And then when the prices do go up, which inevitably over time, that is
Will
the trend,
do.
you've got physically more metal to go up. It's like when the prices of houses go, let's say you've got a 3-bed house and the price of the property goes down and you turn your 3-bed into a 4-bed. When the prices then go back up, you've not got a 3-bed, you've got a 4-bed. So you've got something that is now worth more value in a market that's going up.
That's what I used to teach people, Adam, wasn't it? I used to teach people how to do that, to add value to their houses, to protect themselves from the market.
Yeah.
It's very similar.
And this would give a 15% increase of your physical holdings of metals.
Now, I must just jump in and say that if you don't do this and you have money in the bank, you're not looking at a 15% increase, are you?
No
You're looking at a reduction. I mean, I know you were going to come on and talk about that, but I mean, that just says it all for me. With the inflation as it is at the moment, there is no way holding cash in a bank you could ever grow. There isn't. I don't think there's any sort of program with the bank to grow your holdings by 15%. This is remarkable. Remarkable.
And this is when things are going down. You know, if the bank, I'd be surprised if the bank ever offer you a solution that says, look, you know, inflation's eating away at your money. Let's combat that and some more. Unlikely.
Not going to happen, is it?
Yeah.
No.
So this is a 15% increase of your physical holdings, and you could get all of this metal delivered if you wanted to. It's not just on paper you've got 15% more. You physically own more metal over that time period. And as James said, this is doing it once. You can compound this. So this chart is showing the gold silver ratio, but of a bit of a longer time frame. So you can see here, this is the levels of 51 and 59. And this is the first switch that we've talked about. We've just compressed it in. So we've got like 2 years worth of data rather than one. Well, we had silver, we switched it to gold. We then switched our gold back to silver. That's the 15%. Great. The ratio then went down again. So we switch our silver into gold, and then it went up again, and we switch our gold back into silver. So we've done 2 complete cycles, and because of the compound effect, each time after the first one you've gained 15%, but now you've got 15% more for the second switch. So this would actually be a 32% increase from beginning to end, which when prices are going down, you can make nearly a third more physical metal. And then after that, prices are going up, you've got a third more that's going up. If you only ever did 2 full cycles of switches in your lifetime, which is fairly easy to do, you're winning. You're absolutely winning.
Well, it's no wonder they don't teach this in school.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. I wish we'd known it earlier, Adam, eh? And took
Of course,
action,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah. If we'd have known it earlier, we'd been switching all over the place. But look, better late than never. And that's why we're shouting about it, because once people have made that decision to buy metals, which, you know, is a good decision, we think. It's very much, it just sits there in a cold, dark room and doesn't do anything. It's quite boring as an investment, which you might not get many people saying that, but it is quite boring. But boring's pretty good, especially.
But then it's not as volatile as, you know,
yes,
stocks and shares, which I understand why people have to watch their stocks and shares twice a day, because it could just be destroyed overnight. Literally.
Exactly. Yeah, it could disappear.
Stocks can go to zero. A company can be worth nothing, whereas, you know, metals haven't done that through history.
No, it's not a history of that at all. No.
Yeah. So
they're always going to be worth something, aren't they? They're always going to, you know, they have the dips, they have the ups and downs, but you know. But many of our customers, I'm saying customers, people get in touch and they ask, oh, should I wait for this? Should I wait for that? And I think a point is here this is just for us personally. We always say we're not telling you what to do, we're not advising you, but for us personally, the only wrong time to get started is tomorrow. Really. You know, the sooner you get started is the better. Yeah, because time in the market, as Adam always says, time in the market, the longer you're in it, the better better off you're going to be down the line, you know.
Yeah, I think that's the point, isn't it? People should not put it off. Yeah.
And I think it's difficult to know what's coming, but if you've got strategies and tools in your tool belt that you can use whatever happens, then you're prepared. You're prepared for the ups, you're prepared for the downs, you can do something about it. It's another level of taking back control. Yes, you've got the metals, but what happens when they do go down? And they do. Well, you've got a solution. You can take back control and you can do something about it. And that's what it has to be about. Well,
it's interesting that, you know, Russia's gold backed now, so is China, India, and Saudi Arabia. And what the ruble is now, it's about 55,000 rubles to the gram of gold. And just to show that it's the way forward, it was announced in mainstream last night that Germany backed down, and Germany is now buying Russian gas with gold-backed rubles. They're back down. So they do is they pay in euros to Gazprom, and Gazprom convert that to gold-backed rubles, and then there's a bigger exchange rate, so the Germans have got to pay a lot more. But if they hadn't done it, they'd have run out of gas. So what's happening is that large commodities now are being bought by currencies that are asset-backed.
They're asset-backed.
Now, when that becomes well known by the public, the effect on gold and silver is going to be positive, no doubt about it. Incredible.
We always say,
like you said, Simon, that was just last night.
It made the news yesterday that the Germans backed down, and even the BBC is saying they've backed down. But basically, they're paying with the gold-backed currency, the rubles now. And it's 1 gram of gold for 55,000 rubles. So, I mean, Germany pays billions for gas. So Russia's laughing. The sanctions that the West have put on Russia have absolutely got no effect at all, because Germany's buying gas with gold-backed assets. It's incredible.
Wow. Yeah, I mean that's like you say, it's got to have an impact, because the value is clearly with the thing that's backing it.
Well, people will see, won't they? I mean, the cabal, the system is doing everything it can to prevent people learning that actually Russia's asset-backed, gold and silver-backed its currency. Because obviously, as soon as people realise that, they'll realise that paper money in Britain or America is absolutely valueless. So desperate to stop it. But with Germany now saying, we're buying in rubles, even the most, I can't say unawake and unaware person, but there's a lot of people who are very busy and in their lives, they don't have a time. But they should be asking themselves, well, why aren't they using the dollar? Or the euro? Why are they buying gas in Russian money? And then the next point is, well, it must be gold backed or silver backed. That's the change. Now, what that will do is it will make a lot of people aware. So there is one of the reasons that I was really keen to get on and do this video with you, because, you know, we need people to get ahead of the game, because in a period of time, everyone's going to wake up and there's going to be a mad rush to precious metals, which is great because it'll push it all up. So if people can get in now, get it now, I think they'll be in a good position. That's my own personal point of view.
Get on the train before it's left the station. That's what we always used to say.
Get
on the train before it's actually, because once it's moving that speed, you've got no chance, have you? So
and I mean, it's in the mainstream news. It's not, you know, some little expert tucked away on the corner of the Financial Times. This is BBC. It's mainstream news. Germany is now buying gas in Russian money. Why? It's very
big question.
Yeah,
it's a key point. Massive. It's a massive point. We can't beat it up enough, can we?
No, not at all. It's obvious, and that's the way the future is going to go, I think.
Well, watch this space.
Yeah. So if somebody's interested, and I'm sure there will be, there's going to be a link, isn't there, for you, and they can go straight onto your site and understand. Is that? I think you talked to me about a training video or something. Is that what you have?
Yeah, so what we do is when people get in contact with us, we come back to them with some other videos, not any videos that they would have seen online, but just taking them through the process.
Right.
Because they're saying, look, you know, this is something I want to explore, and it goes into more detail, more than we could kind of do on videos like this, and they can do it as quickly or as slowly as they want to. Some people want to take their time, fine, like a mini series. And some people want to kind of fly through it and get started, and that's totally possible. So
it's only 30 minutes in total, Simon. They're not a lot.
Oh, right. Okay. So it's not a marathon.
As in the initial journey they have to take. It's just 3 videos, isn't it, Adam? And then
that's fine.
Yeah, but it just takes them kind of from yes, I'm interested, to going through the thought process, because we're customers first and foremost. So we know the thought process and the journey that people go on. And we've put these kind of 3 videos together to hold their hand and say, look, consider this about your situation, because everyone's situation is different.
Sure.
You know, don't put everything you've got into metals. Consider the right vehicle for the job, and just little things like this. And then by the end of it, they can then go ahead and pick the best option for them. But they're informed. And we always say, whatever you're going to do it with your eyes open. And that process just opens people's eyes and empowers them. So yeah, just get in contact, and we'll send that straight over to you, and you can navigate it yourself. It's pretty easy to do. It's not like there's no test at the end or anything. No. But it just prepares you for the best decision.
I think that's helpful. Well, thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks for your time.
I always love the graphs. I love the graphs.
Yeah. You get people that love them, some that hate them, but once you get your head around, they're not too bad.
They're helpful.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful, and I hope that people do spend time looking at the mainstream news. I don't normally say that, but at the moment, because you know the truth is beginning to get out.
It is
what's happening with gold and silver, and I think that. You know, it would be so great for people to know, I don't mean to be rude when I say the masses, but for people to actually see what's coming round the corner and take advantage of it. Because, you know, if we were the Rothschilds, we'd know all about this anyway, and we'd have taken advantage of it. And it's always, for me, it's the decent people who never get the information. And they're always, as you said, the train's gone, and they're on the platform thinking, I missed the train. Well, here's an opportunity for people not to miss the train. So that's why I wanted to get behind this, because I know what's happening on a geopolitical level, and I know the impact it's going to have right down to gold and silver on a positive way. So I wanted to do this video with you.
No, thank you, Sam.
Great, thank you.
You won't believe how appreciated, how much appreciation we have, because you know, yourself and Charlie have helped us reach out and helped so many more people. You know, than what we would have otherwise, Adam. Hey, so
well, the thing is that you're all. I don't mean, again, I'm not being rude. You're ordinary people who have learnt the hard way And what you want to do is to share that so people don't have to go through the pain that you went through.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we
absolutely.
don't all have bloody financial advisors that cost us thousands that tell us this, that, and the other, when we can actually do it ourselves if we do the proper research. And so, that's why I think it's great, because to me, it's just another aspect of empowerment, empowering people, and one day I might be talking about, having organic food or water that hasn't got any heavy metals in it. And then the next minute I'm talking about heavy metals, but I'm talking about it in a positive way.
It's not in your body.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, this is just another aspect of what connecting consciousness is about. It's about independence, safety, and just free will. So we love it. We love you guys, and we love what you actually talk about, because it's not just for the elite.
No. We have this conversation quite often, Adam, don't we, with our customers? We'd much rather personally help the people who haven't got much, rather than we help everybody, of course.
Sure.
But we just want to get this message out to as many people as possible, and help people be in a better place financially.
Sure.
And a lot of people,
that security,
on that point, James, a lot of people discount themselves and say,
they do.
Oh, it can't be for me because I've not got millions and millions. Or you can start as small as you want. So
you could buy a gram of gold to start with, couldn't you?
You can buy less. You can buy less. You can buy less than that. Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah. You can buy less. You can buy less than that with us, can't you? It doesn't have to be whole grams.
Yeah. So just get in contact with us, and we'll guide you through it, and just see, step out and start small, go step by step. If it's something new, you don't need to jump in straight away. And just let us kind of guide you and help you not make the mistakes that we made many years ago.
That's very valuable.
Yeah. And then,
well, Adam and James, I thought that was wonderful. Thank you. It's educational. That's what it is. It's very helpful.
Great.
Oh, thank you, Simon.
Well, thanks for your time as well.
And James, and hopefully I will see you in Birmingham then. Make sure you come up and say hello if you can make it.
Yes, definitely. You can get us a hot chocolate, Simon.
I will do. I will do. And we won't be getting you anything, Adam.
No, I'll be the other end of the country. So
okay,
all right.
Oh, lots of love to both of you.
Yeah,
thanks, Simon. Speak soon.
Take care, Simon.
Bye.